episode 25 of Brick Shots with Billy, and I'm without Tonio again. But, work happens, life happens. I got surgery tomorrow. Don't worry, everyone, I'm fine. It's just a little dental work. Should come out of it gleaming. So, we're going to be missing Tonio today. So, this episode is a very special episode. This is the mock draft episode of the show, and this was supposed to be the first ever Brick Shots with Billy. Years ago, I think it was the Burrow draft actually was supposed to be. That's when I really started to kind of get into the podcast world and all that other stuff. Again, I'm back talking to some producers, some editors. If y'all know anybody, let me know. Trying to really get this thing going. Obviously, we're going to pay the money because everybody's time is worth something. I'm probably going to edit this one because we still don't have any deals in the works. But throwing out some feelers, seeing what we're looking for, what others are looking for to kind of do the show for us. But yeah, let's just talk about the draft real fast. It's super exciting. The number one pick is not as solidified like a Trevor Lawrence or a Matthew Stafford or an Andrew Luck like it's been in previous years. But that's, I think, the beauty of the NFL draft. It mixes college and pro football, which is, who doesn't love college and pro football? Like, I know I'm not alone in that aspect. So let's kick it off. The first pick in the 2022 NFL draft, Jacksonville Jaguars, again, are selecting number one. This year, they're going with Kayvon Thibodeau. All right, so everyone's going to freak out already with Billy's first pick, right? But I think a lot of this branding, his strange interviews, I think everything is kind of over amplified with the way we have everything going. Just put on his film, and you'll see what a guy. Playing against especially that Washington State team where they're just throwing the rock every time. He got hurt, he ended up coming back. So people are worried about his dedication to the game, but if he got hurt and he was been the number one, the apparent number one since the start of the season, he gets hurt and then comes back instead of taking the Jadeveon Clowney route and just kind of sitting out waiting to be picked first overall. So I think that says a lot more than you think. His interviews haven't gone bad. Again, I'm not hearing a lot from some of my sources. I'm not hearing he's having the best interviews of all. He's not blowing people away, but I think he's gonna be the number one pick. It's just kind of the writing's on the wall. So he's plus 1,800 at being the first pick. So I threw my bet in today. So I'll get my whatever $850 or whatever. I'm not the best. I'm not a mathematician out here. For my little $50 bet I made today. That's who Jacksonville takes. Now let's get to Detroit. So Dan Campbell, Motor City Madman, he's got the culture completely changed. The Lion teams, they were not talented enough to win very many games, but you could tell if anyone's watched any Detroit Lions game. I watch every game, so you can just tell that team was ready to win. They almost beat the Ravens until Justin Tucker had the best field goal we've ever seen. Just want to throw that in there. Shouts out to you, Matty boy. Love you. But they're taking the defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, and it's just too easy. Michigan guy, definitely a Dan Campbell guy. Everyone's talking about his floor and his ceiling. Ceiling isn't that high, and that's fine, but who doesn't want someone to come in and give you 8, 9, 10, 11 sacks? We're not saying he's getting 20, but okay. Oh my gosh, we have a defensive end getting 11 sacks a year. Dang. No, that's what we want, I think I do. What's kind of weird is I think if Jacksonville's able to say hey, we're gonna go ahead and take Aiden Hutchinson at 1, I do feel like Detroit would be there's no way we're gonna let that happen. I still feel like maybe they'll trade up to number 1 if all signs point to that. All right, number 3, the Houston Texans. They're gonna take Evan Neal. So the Texans have the craziest kind of, it's not a lot of times you get a team that needs everything, or at least teams that do need everything that have a couple positions where you're like, okay, they're not going to take this in the draft. But the Texans, literally, we could see Kyle Hamilton, Sauce Gardner, we could see a tackle, we could see another edge rusher, we can see Trayvon Walker. That'd be 1, 2, 3 edge rushers right off the board. But I think they're going to just play it safe and take Evan Neal, the tackle from Alabama. I think Davis Mills, again, David Culley and that whole staff set up the Houston Texans to do pretty well. I'm going to still say well. They did well. I mean, we expected them to be the number 1 pick. We expected them to lose. There was a couple people who had them not winning a single game. And we even gave an extra game this year. I think because Tyrod goes down, I think that team wins more games if Tyrod doesn't get hurt. But then Davis Mills came out and showed you something that he might be worth kicking the tires on and seeing what you can get out of him. I mean, a team doesn't. What's the point of picking a quarterback with your first pick last year? So they didn't have a pick till the 3rd round, and they went with a quarterback. That says a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they've invested enough in Davis Mills to where they hit tackle at this spot, get a solidified day 1 starter. If he doesn't play left, let's play him at right. But he's gonna play at left, I think. But why would you not want to get that going? And then at 4, so we got the New York Jets. They're gonna take Sauce Gardner. A lot of people are still saying edge. We still have, let's say, we have Trayvon Walker still on the board. We still, we got George Kakalafis. I know I'm fucking his name up. Seen a lot of mocks where he's getting kind of some early in there. They could take Icky. I think there's a lot of ways the Jets can go, but I think they're going to take the probably most day 1 ready college player. Day 1 ready. He's going to show up. He's going to start and be the Jets' number 1 corner going forward. Again, the Jets, they're in the perfect spot to draft, honestly, any player they kind of want. I actually got something for you guys on the 10th pick, so just keep watching. At number 5, the Giants take Ike Ekwonu. So they could have gone Charles Cross here and just got a solidified tackle again. I think this draft especially, not a lot of quarterback power. We're looking at edges, corners, receivers are just so deep in this draft. Tackles are decently deep at the top. Not per se the whole draft, they're just really deep. But at the top, they're definitely. But I think they take Icky. They can move him inside if need be. They can kind of flex him around. Jonathan Ogden, his first season with the Ravens, he was playing guard. So, there's no shame in playing on the inside for a season, kind of get your wits with you and kind of understand the NFL game a little more. But yeah, I got him taking Icky right here. So let's get to number 6, the Panthers. There's a lot of Baker Mayfield's, draft talk. There's a lot of Baker Mayfield talk. There's a lot of quarterback kind of needy things, but I think Matt Rule got a pretty sweet deal when he got there. His first draft, he drafts all defense. His second draft, hit or miss on this and that. They did a lot of work last season getting themselves some corners and getting some players where they could have really used them. And, they got Gilmore. They traded for C.J. Henderson. I mean, I think Carolina's doing things the right way. I think if CMC doesn't go down, I think there's a lot of bitterness. We can look at Carolina and be like, okay, they got something cooking, Me and Buckeye Aaron, shouts out to Buckeye Aaron. Him and I were saying Sam Darnold was playing like a thug the first 3 weeks of the season. I mean, they were undefeated. I think they were playing pretty well, but back to that Rule, I think he has enough probably power pool for one of these quote-unquote younger coaches. He hasn't been in the league forever. But I think he could maybe be like, hey, give me 1 more year without a quarterback. We'll wait for the next year's draft, it's supposed to be a better class. It's supposed to be a lot more, quarterback-friendly draft than it is this year. And I think he's like, hey, let me take this year. Let's fucking do what we can. If they make and it's a weak NFC, so if they make close to something, a playoff run, you know what I mean? They got some mustard, and since they don't have any other picks until the fourth round after the first round, I just think they play it safe, and they end up taking Charles Cross, and they just, hey, left tackle, here it is. This is what we're gonna do. Hopefully they can keep CMC if they stop giving him the ball 80% of the time. That's what I do believe is going to happen for Carolina. Now let's get to the first trade of the 2022 NFL Draft. After the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it kills me to say it, but after they see that Carolina doesn't go for a quarterback, I feel like everyone's going to start freaking out, and they're going to be like, all right, so what are we going to do? Let's look at the Saints. Let's look at the Falcons. You know, even Seattle's going to be kind of thrown in there. Green Bay. Shouts out to Brody. I'm just kidding. Green Bay's not going to look for a quarterback here. But all jokes aside, I think Pittsburgh sees their chance. The Giants already took a tackle with one of their picks. Again, like we said, he can go inside. He can do his own thing. But anyway, Pittsburgh moves up, and they take Malik Willis. It's been well known. This is a Tomlin guy. His pro day was great. His combine was great. That little weird thing with the homeless guy, giving him some swag. We all thought, oh, well, you know, this is what he's doing with no cameras on him. Like, dude, this guy's in Indianapolis. He's at the combine. You don't think there's any fucking cameras on him? Get out of here. All that aside, this would be a sweet pickup for the Steelers, who probably they could use a tackle, they could use somebody on their offensive line, but they lose Juju, but they still have receivers. Other than that, I mean, why not bring in a young raw guy who, you know, can compete with Mitch Trubisky, who again never really got a fair shake in Chicago, I think. Again, we'll talk about ceilings. His ceiling isn't the highest, but he can win games, especially if you have a defense like Pittsburgh, and he can win himself some games. So let's say, you know, Malik sits a year. Let's say Malik sits 2 years, you know. So, you know, Mitch has that 2-year deal. Let's say Malik sits 2 years. And then Pittsburgh, again, they're a world-class organization, especially how they're ran. I feel like they have time. Like, Tomlin's not going anywhere. That defense isn't going anywhere for a little bit at least. You know, Mika Fitzpatrick, the TJ Watts, you know, Joe Hayden, even though he's old, he's still going to be sitting there. But I think that's when Pittsburgh's really going to be like, you know what, let's do this thing, and let's take Malik Willis and you know, try, especially, let's say they get to training camp and he just beats out Mitch. Let's say, and then, God forbid, I don't ever want anybody hurt. If he gets hurt, you still got Mitch to come in and clean up for you, you know, and it's not the worst thing we've ever seen, you know, especially with, like, how some of these quarterback situations are going. Spoiler alert, that is my only quarterback taken in the first round, and I think they trade up for him, and I think once Malik Willis is gone, a lot of those other teams that are kind of quarterback needy, they can think about it, Kenny Pickett, they can think about it, Desmond Ritter, but I really believe that Matt Corral is going to be the best quarterback in this whole draft, and I think he's going to hit himself a sweet team in a sweet spot where he can fit in and do his own thing. Shouts out to you, Tonio. I told you I was going to let everybody know. So then, at number 8, Atlanta, who we could have seen maybe take Malik Willis if he's still sitting there. They could take a corner, which is kind of a needy position. I know I put one out on Facebook where I haven't taken a corner. Doing a little more research like after that the other day, I got them taking Drake London, the wide receiver from USC. Big body, fast, quick, very good route runner. Not the best in the draft for sure, but I think he's more of an Atlanta kind of guy. I think he fits in with kind of a Mariota ran offense. You know, a couple runs here. He's a big dude. He can hit some blocks if need be. He had more receiving yards this year, and he got hurt than he did last year. A lot of receptions, less than he did last year. But I just think that's the way Atlanta's going to go. You know, Julio's gone. Calvin Ridley's strange and all that stuff. They still got Hayden Hurst sitting there at tight end. You got Cordell Patterson, who I think if they move him back to wide receiver, maybe he doesn't make as many plays, but maybe he takes some attention, especially like if rookies come in like Drake London, maybe he takes some attention away. They can have Mike Davis really be that feature back, that, you know, first through third down back kind of guy. And that's just the direction I see Atlanta going. Rich, you can let me know how wrong I am. But let's move on to number 9 and the Seattle Seahawks. So they traded for Russell Wilson. They don't have a quarterback now except Drew Lock. And again, it's a weak NFC. It's not like, oh, we know who's going to win here, 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 and here. It's just kind of anybody's ball game, honestly. And I think with the offensive weapons they had Drew Lock. Denver had some offensive weapons last year, and Drew didn't really do anything. He came up, played a pretty good spot after Teddy got hurt against the Chiefs. But I think they still go Derek Stingley, cornerback out of LSU. I just think it really kind of solidifies them. Pete Carroll doesn't really have a lot of time, and I think a rookie quarterback might not be the way to go, especially if they're gonna use Brooks, their last year's pick. And they're gonna, or it's not Brooks, not last year's pick, from 2 years ago. They're really kind of setting up that defense to kind of, obviously they're never going to be the Legion of Boom like they were, but that's where I think Seattle's kind of got to be, is going to be making sure they get a day one ready starter who's going to ball out. And I think that's Derek Stingley. You still play the Rams, you still play the Cardinals, you're just going to throw the ball everywhere. And the 49ers with either Jimmy G or Trey Lance. Like, they're going to have a quarterback there for a while. So let's hurry up. Let's get a little better in the secondary. Get somebody to defend some of those QBs in that really tough division. Now that we're at 10, I said I had a surprise for y'all. The Eagles are looking into the 10th pick. And I understand they can go ahead and grab, a Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, one of these receivers that are pretty stacked, but I feel like the 2 Ohio State guys, Wilson, Olave, are going to be your bigger bets. Drake London, we already took off. But I think the Jets at 10, and again, this can change, so I don't want my video to be, Billy, you fucking idiot. But, this is a Monday. I'm just letting you guys know what I think is going to happen. At 10, the Jets take Garrett Wilson. They're going to give a little help to Zach Wilson, a little Wilson to Wilson action. And I think, again, they're going to, in the second round, they're going to go ahead and take them Breece Hall from Iowa State, the best running back in the draft that was probably supposed to be a Heisman candidate this year. And just kind of, you play for Iowa State, so, are you really going to get that consideration? But Garrett Wilson, obviously, the speed's there, the size is there, the strength's there. Comes from wide receiver U. I mean, Ohio State's literally just giving you NFL pros, and even in the Rose Bowl when they had the 2, me and Antonio talked about it. You have those 2 dudes still sitting out in Ohio State, still balling out with Njoku's, Smith Njigba, excuse me, jeez Louise. See, it's shit like that why we got to get a producer on the show. Just, make this look a little prettier for me. But that's who I got the Jets taking. And at 11, finally, Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, goes to the Washington Commanders. The Commies go ahead and take Kyle Hamilton, who's going to be their safety for the next 15 years. He's ready to play. I got him falling. I don't like it either. I just think with the way that this draft is kind of, again, like we said in the top of the show, the way this draft is kind of going, I feel like safety is going to kind of maybe take a back burner, and I think Ron Rivera, especially how smart he is, they went and got Carson Wentz. They still got Terry McLaurin there, Scary Terry, who's going to ball out. I think he finally has a quarterback who is the A to fuck me, and I'm going to forget his name for right now. Ryan Fitzpatrick, got it. Carson Wentz is an A, Ryan Fitzpatrick, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is an A quarterback. That's not what I'm saying. I just think he's an A, Ryan Fitzpatrick, while Ryan Fitzpatrick himself is just, hit a B, Ryan Fitzpatrick. But that's who the Commanders are getting. Definitely just take this defense by storm. You got a leader back there now. And at number 12, Minnesota takes Trent McDuffie. A lot of mock drafts I've seen. He's a cornerback from Washington. A lot of mock drafts I've seen. Derek Stingley kind of falls. I think Trent. He's his own player
essentially. So the Pac-12 again, they got Kyler Gordon, the other corner on the other side, also looking at some first round credit, even early second round. So I think a lot's to be said. He had 0 interceptions, but the Ravens last year they took Jason Owe uh,
from Penn State, 0 sacks. So it's like, maybe we're looking at colleges where he's not getting targeted as much. So this guy's getting a lot of double teams, the other side's not. Like kind of shit like we're looking at. So that's where I think Minnesota goes, just to really kind of solidify. They got Justin Jefferson, they got a Kirk Cousins, they got a Dalvin Cook. I think they're going to be there. Harrison Smith is still there. He's going to be there for a while. But yeah, that's where I think Minnesota goes. So back to Houston now at 13. They just picked 3, and they took a tackle. Here's the edge that they take, and it's Travon Walker. So I got Travon falling back pretty deep. Deeper than most, I should say. Maybe not falling back deep, but deeper than most. I just feel like all this pre-draft hype, I think it all encompasses itself, and it's going to go full circle, and we're going to end up with Travon Walker at about 13, where some people are having Jermaine Johnson go, and then George Kapolakis go here, and it's just kind of, I don't know if that's what Houston's maybe going to do. They get a rusher, they get a tackle. And again, they still got some needs at corner. They got a need at linebacker. The receivers they have are okay, but this draft is deep enough to where I still think, 5th, 6th round they can grab. They just traded for the Patriots. They traded their 7th round, I think, for the 5th and 6th pick for the Patriots or some crazy shit like that. So I think they take Travon Walker here. They get him time. Houston's not going to be good next year, so they give him, a year to kind of be there, do his thing, and do what he's supposed to be doing. At number 14, my Baltimore Ravens are selecting Devontae Wyatt, defensive line out of Georgia. So that's 2 Georgia players back to back. We're going out of that crazy national championship defense that they had, where they just had literally NFL bodies just out there. I think he fits for the Ravens. I think we're looking for someone who's big, going to stuff that middle. You imagine Calais Campbell and Devontae Wyatt back there. Even a Jordan Davis, I could see the Ravens hitting a Jordan Davis here, but I got them getting Devontae Wyatt a little quicker for a big man. Playing in that AFC North now with these quarterbacks, we probably need a little bit someone who's a little faster. Maybe can get down to Burrow, get down to a Deshaun Watson if he plays this year. Mitch Trubisky, he's going to be running around, and then we have Malik Willis going to Pittsburgh. So I think that's a pretty good pick for Baltimore. We've had every time we pick in the front half of the draft, like we usually knock it out of the park, and I think this is going to be also a home run pick right here. At 15, remember we were talking about the Eagles trading up to number 10 for the Jets, but at 15, I got them taking Chris Olave. They got Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner last year. Jalen Hurts has taken a big step forward, I think. They run the ball really well with whatever running backs that they're using back there, whether it be a Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, any of those guys. I think this is the Philly pick where they're like, okay, we got a guy now, not a guy now. We have somebody who's going to take away from those double teams from Devontae Smith. The best route runner, again, in college football. I think he's going to be a better pro than Garrett Wilson. That's not a shot at Garrett Wilson. It's just kind of how I've seen things. A lot of Ohio State fans are like, no, you're crazy, da-da-da-da-da. But I think Chris Olave, he could have went last year and still been a first-round pick either. I think if Garrett Wilson went last year, he would not have been a first-round pick. So I think that's kind of where my opinion skewed on it, But yeah, Chris Olave to Philly, I think is going to make a lot of sense, especially in the division. You got the Cowboys with Trayvon Diggs back there, a really good pass defense. You got the Giants who can't figure their shit out. You got the Eagles who, you got the Commanders who kind of can't figure their shit out. They need a corner too, but I still feel like they'll get one later on in the draft. But that's Chris Olave to Ohio State. Now New Orleans. I was tinkering with them having taken Olave. I was tinkering with them taking a tackle here, but I think they go ahead. They pull the trigger. Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. He tore his ACL in the national championship, so I think even if you don't get him starting day one, I think New Orleans really has a glaring hole at receiver and at tackle. But I think, especially with the loss of Armstead, but I think if you're looking at the New Orleans Saints,
Jameis is okay. He had them 5-2. He had them kicking the shit out of Tom Brady's Buccaneers, and there's not a whole lot of wild card spots that are up for grabs. It's kind of anyone's game. Again, we've said this in the NFC. It's kind of soft out there. So I think New Orleans goes ahead and grabs probably could be the best receiver in the draft. But I think if he didn't tear his ACL, I had him going. I would have had him gone, top 10 or at 10 to New York. But I think the Saints really know what they're doing. I think having Dennis Allen there as head coach now without Sean Payton, I think he knows the kind of glaring needs. I think he can fit his defense to kind of do its own thing. So I don't see him going anybody defense here. And then at that, the Chargers, now they're going to go Trevor Penning, the tackle from Northern Iowa. And I think, and it's the same thing again, I think we're kind of seeing this revolution of the NFL to where kind of like, oh, we took a tackle, but he's going to play guard. Or, he'll go fucking to right tackle, even though he's played left tackle his whole career in college and high school. Just to make sure, again, because Justin Herbert is really a force to be reckoned with. They took the kid out of Tennessee last year, played really Guyton. He played really well last year. They just re-signed Mike Williams. They still have Jared Cook. They still have Keenan Allen. I don't think you don't got to get him any weapons here. The defense, I think Brandon Staley, again, he's going to be one of those coaches. I can coach anybody here. They just got Jermaine Jackson. They just got Khalil Mack. I think getting a tackle here is going to be the best spot for the San Diego Chargers. Excuse me. The LA Chargers. Especially to help. They got their tackle last year in Durasol. Boom, fit him right in. Bada bing, here's your fucking Chargers. I think they at least make the playoffs with the current roster they have because it's amazing. J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack. I mean, come on, dude. This team is really like they're shooting for the stars. I think they know they have a superstar in Justin Herbert. They're gonna have to pay him. Not next year, but the year after probably. Next year. No. Yeah, that's his third year. After next year, they gotta pay him. So they know the money's gonna be kind of short elsewhere. So go ahead and get him some protection. Now at 18, Philly just picked 3 picks ago. At 18, they're going to take Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah. And I think this is a super sweet spot for Philadelphia. Let me tell you why. They didn't need a receiver when we took him, but I think Jameson Williams sitting there, or excuse me, I think Chris Olave sitting there. They take him. Could have went inside defensive line. They could have went edge. But I think now that they get back to 18, other edges are gone. I think they take Devin Lloyd from the University of Utah, the best linebacker in the draft. Some people are saying Kobe Dean, but then again, he has Quay Walker on the other side. I think Quay Walker would translate into a better NFL draft prospect. But I do have Devin Lloyd as the best linebacker, like everybody else does, going to the Eagles, and I think this is a super solid pick. They missed out on a couple inside linebackers in the last couple of drafts where they could have went 1 for 1, but they didn't. And they got your Draylen Ragers, and they're kind of fucking up with what they got going on. But I think, excuse me, I think they right their wrongs. Get Devin Lloyd, win for both sides. Devin gets to go to Philly. Great organization. And a lot of people hate on the Philly fans because they're kind of obnoxious because they are. But again, they understand greatness and they understand that's what they got to do. That's what they got to do. Now back to New Orleans at 19. So I love going from Philly to New Orleans, from Philly to New Orleans again. And it's funny because they still got fleeced in the Philadelphia trade when you're just trading draft picks. I don't know how you get fleeced just trading draft picks, but hey, it happens. New Orleans, here's their tackle. Again, we said they have a glaring need at wide receiver. They got glaring need at tackle, and they're going to go ahead and take that Central Michigan tackle, Bernard Rainman. I know it's not Rainman, but it's funny. That's how I read it whenever I see it. I think they gotta have somebody has to take over for Armstead. They're just gonna leave that position open. No, you gotta take what you can. I know a lot of people are saying maybe they take the tackle Logan Hall from Houston. They've taken a couple chances on some later round picks, or because they've always had that luxury having a Drew Brees, having a Sean Payton, where they know their offense is gonna be fine, so they'll go ahead and take a defensive end, defensive tackle, a Sheldon Rakins, the other cat from Houston. And I really think they know the needs and they're going to attack their needs at this draft. That's where they're going to hit tackle. So remember that trade that we had from Pittsburgh moving all the way up. They traded that first round pick And now I have the New York Giants now taking Jermaine Johnson. Now we know, I think they grab a corner in the second round. I think they think someone could fall, like a Roger McCreary or a Kyler Gordon, even if he gets all the way back down to there. But let's say they take, Jackson Hill or a fucking Perkser from Penn State. I think that's a pretty solid pick at 20 for New York to get a pretty established pass rusher. So let's move on to the New England Patriots. Picking 21, they made the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. Bill Belichick literally needed one off season to really get his shit back together and kind of show you like, oh yeah, I'm still the best coach ever. So I have them taking Andrew Booth, the corner. They just lost J.C. Jackson. Bam, here's your replacement, Andrew Booth Jr. How you doing? Keep it moving. We're gonna move right on because I think he's a pretty solid pick. Dabo Sweeney, winner at Clemson. They had a shitty year technically, but if you really look at it, they lost to Georgia, they lost the next game, and then they won every other game after that. I mean, except the NC State game that they lost. But yeah, I mean that's what we got is Andrew Booth to New England at 22. The Green Bay Packers. They're gonna select Kenny Pickett. One more joke for you. Sorry, it's kind of quiet in here, so it's just me. I don't know if you guys are laughing or not yet. But Green Bay takes Jahan Dotson from Penn State, the wide receiver, give Aaron Rodgers some help. We all know they just paid him a buttload of fucking money. They got rid of Devontae Adams, which he knew about. He's also going to be sitting on Pat McAfee's show for the Draft Spectacular. But Jahan Dotson, probably the second best route runner. But then if I say the crispest route runner in the draft, I'm not saying that he's a better route runner than Chris Olave, but he's more crisp. I think Olave had a lot more coaching to kind of help Brian Hartline's out there. Again, making wide receiver year really happen for Ohio State. But I do think Johan it's crisp as fuck. Like every route he runs, it's just like beauty that you see when he's running it. Not a whole lot of pressure is taken off him because he didn't have another receiver like the Chris Olave Garrett Wilson combo in the Big Ten. So his numbers might not like pop at you and be like, "Whoa, what's going on?" But if you look at the Auburn game, he had 10 catches, 100 and something yards, just played really out of his mind. And I just think that's where Green Bay really needs to go if that's what they're trying to do. Now, after that, we got the Arizona Cardinals. But I got a trade for y'all. So I'm big on trades. I feel like mock drafts that have zero trades in them aren't as fun. It's kind of cool, like trying to guess what a trade would be because it's so hard and it's like it's not going to happen. It's hard to predict how it's going to happen. But I got Arizona moving up one spot because I feel like they might think the Cowboys are going to try to take Zion Johnson, the guard from Boston College. And I think that's a pretty glaring hole. Obviously, I think Kyler Murray comes back. That's just something that you're going to need to have. They could go edge here again, maybe take that George Kalafdis kid because you lost Chandler Jones. But I just feel like this is an offensive league. They need some. If they're not taking corner here, I think that's where they go, and they go Zion Johnson. Boom, day one starter. How you doing? Keep it moving type deal. And then after that, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who we just mentioned. I think they would have gone Zion Johnson here, but I think they'll take Tyler Linderbaum, the offensive lineman, quote-unquote, center from Iowa. But I think the Cowboys might use him at center. They could use him at right guard. You still got Dak and Zeke back there. Tony Pollard's on his last year, I believe, for his contract. You got CeeDee Lamb. You just paid Michael Gallup a buttload. You traded Amari Cooper. So Dallas really thinks, I think they're going to go all in on this offense and really. They don't, again, like we said earlier too, they don't have a bad defense. So I think that's going to be the hole that they try to fill. And they literally get a steal probably in the draft with Tyler Linderbaum. I have the Ravens maybe taking them at 14 and some of my other mocks that I've done before. I've had Houston taking them just to make sure that they get kind of an anchor to the offensive line. Even Philly, hey, sit them at right guard for a year. Jason Kelsey, is going to retire after next year, And then boom, here you go, moving right back over to center. But I think Philly's going to move a different direction. Now we talked about the trade back, Buffalo and Arizona's trade. So Buffalo moves back. They get George Kalafaris, and he goes with AJ Esperanza. Jerry Hughes left. So I think they kind of fit a need that they have. Buffalo has probably zero needs. They could go inside. They could go another guard here. I think if they don't accept the trade from Arizona, because I'm in my head, Arizona trades a second round pick literally just to move up to that spot. May sound crazy to some of y'all, but it doesn't to me. So I think Buffalo just says no to that trade, and they go ahead because it's not like their offense needs somebody on the inside. Their defense could use someone inside, like the other cat from Georgia, Jordan Davis. So they could use maybe a Jordan Davis here. That's my first mock draft. That's where I have going. But I have George falling all the way down. I just think playing in with a team like Purdue and the Big Ten, like his name. Shout out to Draft Junkies because they have him going in the top 15, and I don't see it. But that's where I got him going is to Buffalo there. I also think Buffalo maybe shakes it up a little bit. Doesn't kind of pick what they need. They kind of pick, I can't believe this guy fell, blah, 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 and that's what they grab. Because I know they just got the Jalen Phillips from Miami last year, too, so maybe, they're really kind of getting on that pass rush, scare Mac Jones in his second year, really freak out to, Zach Wilson still in his rookie year, too, so maybe they can just chalk up 6 quick wins and kind of do their own thing. Then the Tennessee Titans, I think they take Logan Hall, the defensive lineman from Houston. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I think Tennessee, again, it's another team without a lot of holes. Maybe they go quarterback. They could go wide receiver here to kind of give A.J. Brown some other help because they just cut Julio, which is probably not the smartest move. But again, he didn't do shit for you, so who cares? But yeah, I got Logan Hall. Could be a steal, could be he's literally an Ed Oliver version 2, coming out of Houston, playing the same position, doing his own thing. Then Tampa Bay at 27, a Super Bowl favorite again because the NFC is easy as hell, and you got the GOAT playing quarterback still. So, how hard is that really going to be in that division? They've been rumored for the Honey Badger, but nothing really worked out for them. The Honey Badger's still out there. Come to Baltimore, or whatever you want to do. But I think they get Lewis Klein, it's one of them. Watch his pro day. It's weird too watching pro days. They don't say their name a whole lot because it's like that's who they're going for. They just leave his name on the screen. It's like, oh, I know who I'm watching. But the safety out of Georgia, I think he comes in, steps up. Tampa Bay can do some corners, but I think with Carlton Davis coming back, I think because that's what I was saying. Their pass defense was not good last year. That's the reason they lost because Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp had a field day. But I think taking that safety there is just kind of maybe a play it safe, but also let's play it hard because that's how Lewis plays. And yeah, that's where we're going. And at 28, the Green Bay Packers, after they just selected at 22 Johan Dotson, I think they take George Pickens. I got another back-to-back George pick. It's going to be George Pickens, George Pickens, not Pickens, excuse me, y'all. The wide receiver out of Georgia, I think. Again, this is showing Aaron, like, hey man, we're on Kunta Kuntz even came out and said, we don't have Aaron on a 4-year deal. We have him on 4 1-year deals because he can bounce out at any time he wants. And I think they're going to really show him this draft, like, all right, motherfucker, you keep disappointing us in NFC title games, you keep disappointing us in first-round games, whether it be against Jimmy G and the 49ers in the cold, frigid Lambeau air, and how do we not have an advantage at that? We got 2 running backs who are absolute studs, even if at that point now you're saying, hey, we're just going to try to score 50 and beat everybody regardless of what our defense is doing, and they still have an okay defense. It's crazy. All right, let's move to 29. Kansas City, they got back-to-back picks. They're going to go Daxton Hill, and then they're going to go Sky Moore. The safety from Michigan is Daxton Hill, and the wide receiver from Western Michigan is Sky Moore. So, Daxton Hill comes in, replaces the Honey Badger. I quote replaces because you can't really replace that veteran presence, that savviness, that I know what's going on. And then you still have Daniel Sorensen playing the other safety spot where me and Antonio have been like, get this guy fucking out of here. I say you keep the Honey Badger. I don't give a fuck about contracts. Let Sorensen go. And then if you throw in Daxton Hill with the Honey Badger on Kansas City's defense, come on, man. Now you got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got obviously Travis Kelce. You just picked up. Oh my God, the other wide receiver, Van Skelton, right? Or from Green Bay, and it's like, let's fucking run this back. Let's literally just kind of set up the same team. Now you're gonna lose a couple games. I feel like maybe a couple 1, 2, 3 deep shots. Maybe loses you one game because you got a rookie back there, and it's not gonna be the Honey Badger. But that's where I have them going. Sky Moore. Not instantly replaces Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill is probably one of the most overrated receivers. Y'all have heard me say this. He's faster than everyone. He runs a route or 2 routes because he runs a slant, and then as soon as he gets lost, it's not like most receivers where you get lost, but he's so much faster than everybody else. He's lost for 1 second. That's all Patrick Mahomes needs. Gets it to him, and then he cuts it up, and then obviously he's going to the house. Now at 31, Cincinnati, who's rebuilt their offensive line. They have straight weapons. Now, T. Higgins just got hurt today. So, maybe they look to trade back probably, but that's kind of be the story of this draft, who wants to trade back, and I just think it's deep enough that maybe they grab another receiver in the second round, even at their, like, what would it be, 62nd pick? You know, that maybe that's what they're going to draft, or 63rd pick, whatever. Maybe that's who they're going to draft. But I got them taking Kidlon Green, the offensive lineman from A&M. Now you got La'el Collins. You just signed center guard from Tampa Bay. And I just see it. Let's protect Joe Burrow. Like, let's not let this guy get hurt again and miss out on a AFC Championship winning quarterback who just took us to the Super Bowl. We're getting an indoor practice facility. Everything is going to be peachy in Cincinnati. Shouts out to you, Buckeye Aaron. Let's end the draft on, again, maybe another not controversial note, but let's really think about this. Detroit, with the 32nd pick in the 22 NFL draft, they're going to take Jalen Peachey, defensive back from Baylor. Now, before everyone freaks out, Jalen can play slot corner, can play nickel corner, can play safety corner. He can really do it all. And I think you take him in the first round, get him that 5th round option to where Jeff Okudah doesn't work out and he has to go, bam, you still got Jalen there for another extra year, if that's what you're trying to do. I think in the second round, they're going to go Quay Walker or Nakobe Dean, because I know I don't have Nakobe coming out in the first round either, but I feel like he might fall. He's a little smaller, more of a sideline guy, not a true NFL linebacker kind of guy. But you also got Chad Newman. These linebackers are pretty deep in the draft too, but you're not going to get linebackers going left and right in the first round, or even the second round. You're still kind of looking around. But that's my mock draft, everybody. I think Detroit is probably my favorite. I've done a couple. I've only done 2 or 3 7-round drafts, and it's just crazy. Maybe it's just because I like Detroit. I like the direction that franchise is going, but that's been my favorite mocks that I've had. Philly's also a really good one. Let me see, who's another one? The Jets are pretty fun. I like doing Houston now. I like these bottom tier teams where it's like hope. That's what I think the draft is for them. It's just this like beacon of hope. Like let's get who we need and let's try to be good in the next couple of years, as opposed to a Kansas City who's like, oh, let's revamp it. We got to the AFC Championship last year. Let's just try to win that fucker again. Excuse me. But again, let me know what you think. If you want to do second round mock draft, I'm here for it. We missed Tonio again on this show. We're going to put out a second one this week. We're going to do it, if I don't feel too bad tomorrow, after my surgery, we'll definitely do it Wednesday. Put out one more piece of content before the draft really kicks off. But hey, like, share, subscribe. Again, we're offering $5 for every share. I'm really thinking about opening it to 10 because nobody's sharing it in the last couple weeks. Probably because they don't make it to the end, and that's when we say to do the share. Maybe we should do that in the front. So, the first 30 seconds you watch, bam, here's $5. But I really appreciate everybody listening. This is my favorite time of the year. Started the show late. I'm watching Philly, Toronto, and
But yeah, I'm really excited. This is I think pretty solid mock. I got a couple A's on my Pro Football Focus mocks. So but I mean this is my whole this is my baby. This is my baby show. I'm upset Antonio's not here, but I really just appreciate everybody listening. Let me know